Okay, so this is number three. Number three actually has a lot of things going on in here. So I'm going to change this problem quite a bit. Um, like I said, there's just a lot of things happening. There's an amplitude, there's a horizontal shift, we got to factor out a beat, tons of stuff. So let's just do this for now. We'll cross this guy off best I can. Okay, let's do this. Let's go y equals 2 cosine x plus pi over 2. All right, so kind of similar, but not quite as much stuff going on. All right, the amplitude for this curve is just going to be 2, period. Now, this is our first example where there's a horizontal shift. You see the parentheses. Now, we're looking for a number in front of the parentheses to help us with our period. So if there's no number in front of the parentheses, that number is 1. B equals 1. And then we're just going to do 2 pi over b, which is just going to be 2 pi. All right, great. Like I said, your notes should say horizontal shift. And all right, horizontal shift. It's going to be the opposite sign of what's inside. So that's always going to be the case. So this looks like a positive pi over 2. My horizontal shift is really going to be a negative pi over 2. And vertical shift, when we talk about a vertical shift, we're looking for a number being added or subtracted on at the end of the function. We don't have that here, so none. All right, almost done. We're just going to take the period, divide it by 4, and that's what we're going to count by. So we have 2 pi divided by 4 pi over 2. Okay, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. And we're going to go the opposite direction as well. Negative pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2, negative 2 pi. All right, now the amplitude here is 2. The height is 2. We haven't had an amplitude yet, but I'll show you what it does. It doesn't do anything crazy. It just makes the graph taller or shorter. So if the amplitude is 2, we'll just count by ones. It doesn't matter. All right, great. Now, the big thing here is this horizontal shift. So the way I like to think about it is we're going to start here. We're actually going to start at negative pi over 2, graphing this thing. So cosine usually starts up high. Cosine usually starts at 0, 1. Regular cosine, 0, 1, up high here. Now, we are going to shift the graph so it starts up at negative pi over 2. And instead of 1, because we've changed the amplitude to 2, we're going to start at negative pi over 2, 2. That's going to be our first point. Now, the key with these graphs is just to remember the pattern, because once we have the pattern, we can just kind of plot and go. So cosine starts up high. Then the next point we plot at 0, 0 will bring us down. And then at pi over 2, we're going to go down to negative 2 because of that amplitude change. So you can see we're starting to make that curve. Back up to pi, and then 3 pi over 2 at 2. We finish it up. Okay, I'm going to try to connect these dots. So that's one cycle. So we can continue on, and you continue the pattern exactly how you want to, like exactly how intuitively you want to. So we'll finish up here, and then we can just drop this down to 2 pi. And that's the cosine curve starting at negative pi over 2. And actually, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a sine curve. And we can talk about that a little bit later. But that is how you would graph our new function y equals 2 cosine x plus pi over 2.